नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं वाचं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् जितं ते पुण्डरीकाक्ष नमस्ते विश्वभावन नमस्तेस्तु हृषीकेश महापुरुष पूर्वज सदक्षरं ब्रह्म य ईश्वरः पुमान् गुणोर्मि सृष्टिस्थितिकालसल्लयः प्रधानबुद्ध्यादि जगत्प्रपञ्चसूः सनोऽस्तु विष्णुर्मतिभूतिमुक्तितः पृथिव्यापस्ततः तेजो वायुराकाशमेव च सर्वेन्द्रियान्तःकरणं पुरुषाख्यं हि यज्जगत् स एव सर्वभूतेशः विश्वरूपो यतो अव्ययः सर्गादिकं ततो अस्यैव भूतस्थम् उपकारकं स एव सृज्य सज सर्गकर्ता स एव पाति अत्ति च पाल्यते च ब्रह्माद्यवस्थाभिः अशेषमूर्तिः विष्णुर्वरिष्ठो वरदो वरेण्यः. We finished with the second Adhyaya. The second Adhyaya gave a small summary of how the Srishti happens from the Pradhanam and the Purusha. Pradhana is your Prakriti or Maya, and from that you had the Mahattattvam, Ahankaram, and then the rest of the creation of Mahabhutam, everything happened. Then you had the Brahmanda. From the Brahmanda, the Vishparupam or Virat Purusha, पुरुषस्य सृष्टिः आसीत् स एव सृज्यः भवति स एव सर्गकर्ता अपि भवति स एव पाति अत्ति च अत्ति इत्युक्ते संहारमपि करोति स एव. So he takes on the different forms of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva and does that respective work. When you go to Shaivagamam, you will have two more added to it, which is the Tirodhana and Anugraham. In essence, those two also can be, included into these three also: Srishti, Sthiti, and Layam. Now, this third Adhyaya, Brahmanaha Sarga Janikayaha Shaktehe Vivaranam Tasya Ayur Nirupanam Cha. So this, in the first few shlokas, you have the description of the Shakti. Srishti Shakti. This is different from the Maya Shakti. Different in the sense it's the same. In essence, it is the same. But here it is responsible for Srishti. So the questions that Maitreya asks are very simple. He says, Nirgunasya Brahmanaha Katham Kartrutvam Bhavati. Nirgunaha Akriyaha Saha Nishkriyaha Saha Tarihi Guna Sahitaha Katham Bhavati. Because only when you have sattva, rajas, tamas, all these three gunas, can the Paramatma Swarupa be effective in creating the world. Tari sargadi kartrutvam katham bhavati iti arabhya. And then Parāśara explains the Shakti of Brahma. But in detail, it explains the Kala Vibhagaha. It is not only Brahma Ayur Nirupanam. It describes Kalam starting from Nimesha to Brahma's years. That covers the entire Adhyaya in this. Shri Maitreya Uvacha Nirgunasya Aprameyasya Shuddhasyapi Amalatmanaha Katham Sargadi Kartrutvam Brahmanaha Abhyupagamyate. The same question Vidura had for Maitreya in Bhagavata Purana. So, Nirgunasya Aprameyasya Shuddhasya Amalatmanaha api tasya Brahmanaha Katham Sargadi Kartrutvam Abhyavagamyate. How do we fit Sargadi Kartrutvam, the agency of Brahma? How does it fit him? So Nirgunaha Saha Sattva Rajas Tamo Adi Gunanam, the presence of it is not there. The presence of any of those gunas are not there. He doesn't get attached to any of those gunas. Those gunas are part of Maya. Mayayaha eva traigunyam vartate brahmanaha nasti. So nirgunasya brahmanaha. Only when he has those gunas can Srishti happen, because the Srishti objects that are created in the Srishti are all of three gunas. Next is Aprameyasya. Desha Kala Vastu Parichhedaha Vishayanam Vartate. Srishti, those objects that are created in the world can be distinguished by using the terms of Desha, space, Kalam, time, and Vastu, the limitations of its form. All of these objects are limited by space, time, and form. right? Whereas aprameyaha saha, it is difficult to confine, it is not possible to confine the Brahman with respect to desha, kala and vastu. Okay, so desha kala adi anavacchinnasya aprameyasya. Prameyam always means prama yogyam, that which can come within the range of knowledge. So yat pramatum yogyam, that which can be understood, should be in, you can't understand something which is abstract. In some way or the other, you are giving it a space, a time, or a form to it to understand. That is when it becomes prameyaha. अत्र तु ब्रह्मणः अप्रमेयत्वं कथं सिद्ध्यति यतः तस्य देशतः अवच्छिन्नत्वं नास्ति, कालतः अपि अवच्छिन्नत्वं नास्ति, and वस्तुपरिच्छेदो अपि तस्य न विद्यते. Next is शुद्धस्य. शुद्धस्य, शुद्धम, he is pure, is a very literal translation. शुद्धस्य इत्युक्ते अदेहस्य. Only when you have a shariram can you perceive the objects that are there in the world. Tadrisha sharirasya rahityam vartate. He does not have a form with which he can create. So if I have to create an object, you look at any object in this world that has been created, and if it has a creator, then that creator would have a body per se, and he would also use some upakaranam, some sort of a tool to create something. If it is a book, then you have a paper which you put together. In the olden days, we used to stitch books with a needle and a thread. So that's all, needle, thread, etc. are all your upakaranam to create a book. Tatha brahmanaha upakaranam kinchidapi na vidyate shuddhaha saha. Because Maya is responsible for all this Prakriti. So the second Adhyaya, full the creation process that we saw in the second Adhyayam, everything started from the Prakriti or Pradhanam or Maya. Nothing started from Bhagavan. It did not start from Brahman. So it is only Maya which is responsible. He is without any of those attachment, or that touch of Maya is not present in him. Shuddhasya amalatmanaha. If I have to create, I want to see my creation in the world. So there should be a ragam, an attachment to create something in this world. Tadha tasya nasti api. Or if I am born in this world and I am working with the objects in this world, there is some papa vishesha or punya vishesham that is acting, which is making me do all these things. Tadrisha punya papa vishesho api na vidyate brahmanaha. Amalatmanaha atma swarupam tasya swarupam tu amalam mala rahitam vartate ragadi shunyam. So there is no attachment or detachment for him. Punya papa samskaropi na vidyate. So he is completely without any, you can't say faultless, but you can just say there is no ragadi, let's say shunyaha. Okay, those things that can come about with the association of manas. Only when there is a manas samyogaha, tatraiva ragaha jayate, punya papanam samskaropi jayate. Manaha api na vidyate brahmanaha iti karanat, tatra ragadayaha na vidyante, raga karyani punya papani api na vidyante. Is that clear? So, amalatmanaha tasya brahmanaha, if he is such a personality as we have described, nirgunaha, aprameyaha, shuddhaha, amalatma cha, saha, katham sargadinam, srishthyadinam, bhuta sarganam, karta bhavati. How can he be the doer of this srishti, of this creation? A very valid question, because the chart we have seen always starts from Maya. Think of this question in that manner. So, nirgunasya aprameyasya shuddhasya api amalatmanaha katham sargadi kartritvam brahmanaha abhyupagamyate. This is Maitreya's question. Now, Parāśara answers him. Shri Parāśara uvacha shaktayaha sarva bhavanam achintya jnana gocharaha yataha ataha brahmanaha tastu sargadhyaha bhavashaktayaha bhavanti tapatam sreshtha bhavakasya yatha ushnata tan nibodha yatha sarge bhagavan sampravartate. sarva bhavanam achintya jnana gocharaha shaktayaha bhavanti yataha bhavanti ataha brahmanaha taha bhavashaktayaha bhavanti. So this is a little complicated answer that he is trying to say. In a way, it's very easy to explain in Advaita Vedanta. What we would say is, it is just illusory, adhyastattva. Maya eva tatra adhyastattvam vartate, tari sarva kriyaha api brahmani adhyastaha. Very clear. It is illusory appearance on Brahman. It is as if he is a karta when he is not the karta in reality. You think he is the karta. So just as how when we say, I am doing this work, it doesn't mean that the Atman is doing the work. It is the Shariram that is doing the work. Even though it is only Maya that is doing the work, Mayayaha kartrutvam brahmani adhyastam bhavati. Very easy to explain that. But here Parāśara has a different way of explaining. He says, because of the fact that every object has its own Shakti. There is a Swabhava Siddha Shakti that is present in every object. Just as how Pavakasya Yatha Ushnata Vartate. Tapatam Pavakasya. Ushnata Yada Pavakasya Tapatam. Those objects which burn because of the fire, it is only if that object has the capacity to burn, only then can it burn. Otherwise, it is not going to burn. Even if I set something to fire, the object per se has to have a Swabhava Siddha Ushnata for it to burn. Tapatam Vastunam Pavakasya Ushnata Iva. Just as how there are objects which are burning, it is the Pavakasya Ushnata Eva Asti Vastushu. Natu Vastunam Tapaha Vartate. Okay. How he explains this is, think of it as, okay, a house is burning. Let's say a house is burning. It is not the house that is burning. It is actually the fire that is burning. So, Pavakasya eva ushnata vartate, natu tapatam vastunam. Tapat griham is not, the burning house is not actually burning. It doesn't have fire. So, it has a fire which has the heat. So, it seems as if the house is burning. The same way, it seems as if Maya has created everything, but it is the presence of the Chit Swarupam that has made this Maya do all these functions. Gandham, the example that he gives in Bhagavatam is Gandhaha Iva, or it is here only, not in Bhagavatam. Vishnupurana only, last Adhyaya we saw that. Just as how there is the presence of Gandha, and if there is if the nose is near that Gandham, then we experience that Gandham. Otherwise, we are not going to experience it. The Gandha does not, the smell does not prompt us to act towards any of those objects. The function of the object is not to make you hunger for it. The object has a smell. The smell is just a presence, which is a preraka, which is an inspiration for you to act. In the same manner, the Purusha, there is an innate Shakti in each object which prompts that object to function. Brahmanaha api tadrisha bhava shaktayaha santi. So, yataha yasmat karanat sarva bhavanam sarva padarthanam achintya jnana gocharaha. There are achintya Shakti in it. Bhava shaktayaha vidyante. And those Shakti that is present in those objects are achintya jnana gocharaha. They are understood by jnanam, arthapatti. Achintyam, but that Shakti is something that we cannot think about. Achintyaha chantayitum asankyaha shaktayaha vartante ekasminneva padarthe or sarveshu api padartheshu. Let's say like mani, mantra, aushadham ityadikam. So when you look at an aushadham, you don't understand whether it has that Shakti or not. Once it is taken in the proper manner, it has the Shakti to eliminate the rogam that is there in the body. In the same manner, when the presence of Brahma, Atman comes there, that particular Shakti in an object, udbhutam bhavati, and the presence of the object is felt in the world. Not sure how clear you can understand this. As an answer to the earlier question, But yeah, this is what Parāśara says. So yataha yasmat karanat sarva bhavanam sarva padarthanam achintya jnanagocharaha shaktayaha vidyante ataha tasmat karanat brahmanaha taha sargadhyaha bhavashaktayaha bhavanti. Hence, it is said that Brahma also has all of these Shakti in him. Shaktis are present only in the Maya and Maya Kalpita, Maya Karya Bhutanam Vastunam eva Shaktihi Vartate. Kintu Brahmanaha Sannidhyat Brahmanaha api ete Shaktayaha Vartante iti Adhyasaha Vartate. I hope it's clear. So, the Shakti is only present in the objects. It is only present in the Jada Vastu, but we think that Shakti is activated because of the presence of Brahman. Bhavanti tapatam sreshta pavakasya yatha ushnata. Pavakasya ushnata tapatam yatha bhavet tatha. Yes, this is the same Shakti that is described in the 8th Padartha. Correct. So in Tarka Sangraham, the Saptayeva Padarthaha iti uchyante, that Shakti they talk of is in 8th Padartha, which becomes very easy in Advaita Vedanta because it is the Maya Shakti here. Okay. Tan nibodha yatha sarge bhagavan sampravartate. Yatha, just as how the manner in which Bhagavan sarge sampravartate, the manner in which God has entered into this creation, tan nibodha, listen to that, that I'm going to say now. Narayanakhyo Bhagavan Brahma Lokapitamaha Utpannaha Prochyate Vidvan Nityameva Upacharataha. Brahma Utpadyate. Bhagavan Narayanakhyaha eva Brahma Lokapitamaha asti Sayeva Utpannaha iti Upacharataha eva Prochyate. Hey Vidwan, Parāśara is addressing Maitreya and saying this. Hey Vidwan, Bhagavan Narayana takes on the form of Brahma, who is the Loka Pitamaha. Loka Pitamaha is the grandfather of the world. That is the people in the world. Because he created the Prajapatis, and then the Prajapatis were responsible for the different class of beings. So he is called the Loka Pitamaha. Brahma Lokapitamaha Narayanakhyaha Bhagavan. Narayanaha eva Bhagavan tatra Brahma iti Purvasmin shloke yaha uktaha. That is Brahman or Paravasudevaha Narayanaha. Sayeva Brahma Utpannaha iti prochyate. So Narayana has been created as Brahma, or he took birth as Brahma. That birth word Utpannaha iti shabdaha tu atra upacharataha eva. It is not Utpatti as in how a man is created or the beings in the world are created, but it is just an avirbhavaha. Swechaya avirbhavaha. There is just a manifestation out of his own accord. There is no creation for Brahma. Nabhi kamalat saha utpannaha iti chet tatra udbhutaha bhavati iti eva kalu avirbhavaha eva tasya natu tasya utpattihi. So utpatti sadrishyat. There is just this is like lakshana here. So utpatti sadrishyat, because there is a similarity between creation and totram, the manifestation. He says utpannaha Brahma utpannaha iti vakyameva tatra natu manushyavat tatra utpattihi drishyate. Narayanakhyo Bhagavan Brahma Lokapitamaha Utpannaha Prochyate Vidvan Nityameva Upacharataha. Upacharam means Lakshanaya Athava Sadrishyat. Nijena Tasya Manena Ayur Varshashatam Smritam. So that just three shlokas are over about the Shakti. That's it. The rest is going to be a description of the Kala Vibhagam. Nijena Tasya Manena Ayur Varshashatam Smritam Tat para akhyam tad ardham cha parardham abhidiyate. Nijena tasya manena brahmanaha parimanena nijena swasya. So swena parimanena itukte brahmanaha parimanena brahmena parimanena ayur varshashatam smritam. His life, Brahma's life is for 100 years. his life. So which means in his parimanam, Brahma's measurement, you have 100 years. That has nothing to do with our human years. Okay. So Brahma lives for 100 years. Tat para akhyam. That 100 years is called param. And tad ardham, half of Brahma's years, 50 years of Brahma's life is called parardham. Parardham iti abhidiyate. A simple, if after all of these 28 shlokas, you still have some confusion, you can go and read it in Wikipedia or some other page where it says Hindu units of time. It might be easier represented in a tabular form for you. So, parardham iti abhidiyate. Kalaswarupam Vishnoscha yenmaya uktam tava anagha tena tasya nibodhatvam parimana upapadanam. Kala Vishnoho Kalaswarupam yat maya uktam. He anagha, one who has a faultless knowledge. Anagha, one who does not have any fault. Agha papam. Yasya papaha eva navidyate tadrisha maitreya. So tava anagha, tava yat Vishnoho yat Kalaswarupam vartate tat yat maya uktam tena Tvam parimana upapadanam niboda. Tasya paripa. So Vishnu's different form, another form of Vishnu is Kalam. Kalam, this also we read in the first or the second Adhyaya. So Vishnu has another form which is Kalam or time. And I told you about that form before. Now use that and Tena parimana upapadanam tasya. Tasya itukte kalasya parimana upapadanam katham iti tvam nibodha. With whatever I have said before, Vishnoho rupam kalaha iti yat maya purvamuktam tattu manasi nidhaya tenaiva vishayena idanim tu tasya kalasya parimana upapadam nibodha avagacha. So you'll have to understand the measurement of that kalam, measurement of Vishnu's another swarupam, which I told you about before. Anyesham chaiva jantunam charanam acharascha ye bhubhrit sagaradinam asheshanam cha sattama parimana upapadanam nibodha. Iti anvayaha. So, anyesham jantunam parimana upapadanam nibodha. Understand the divisions or the measurements of other jantu, other creatures also, which are chara and achara. Charanam, moving, sentient and insentient, acharaha, movable and immovable objects. The time measure for all of these objects also you have to understand. Understand also the time measurement for bhumi, bhubhrit, kings, sagara, ocean, ityadinam, asheshanam. All of these measurements also you will have to understand. He sattama ityukte one who is the most noble person. Iti Maitreyasya sambodhanamatra. Anyesham chaiva jantunam charanam acharascha ye bhubhrit sagaradinam asheshanam cha sattama. Kashta. Now he starts off with the divisions of time. From the small, there is even a further divisions beyond this, even smaller divisions than this. But he starts off with Nimesha here in Višṇupurāṇam. In other Puranas, you will find other divisions also which are lower than this. Kashta panchadasha akhyataha nimesha munisattama kashta trimshat kala mohurtiko vidhihi. Sutra prayana vartate atra. We have to try to decode all of these things. So kashta is one measure of time. And kashta panchadasha akhyataha nimeshaha. He munisattama nimeshanam panchadasha eva eka kashta. So nimeshaha, what is nimesha? It is the time that we take to close the eye. Akshi paksha nikshepa upalakshitaha kalaha. This is there in Sridhara Swami's Vyakhyanam. So akshi paksha, the nimesha unmesha. Right? Unmesha nimishottanna vipanna bhuvanavali. For Ambal, we say, the moment she closed her eyes, it is pralayam. The moment she opened her eyes, the whole srishti had happened within that 1 second. Right? So nimesha is the moment it takes for the eyelid to close. Akshipaksha, eyelid, nikshepa, moving or nikshepa is sthapanam. Just the placing or closing of the eyelid, that time is called nimesha. And 15 of those is a kashta. Kashta panchadasha nimeshaha. Panchadasha akhyataha nimeshaha munisattama. Tadanantaram sarvam trimshat. It goes in the rounds of trimshat for the next 2-3, which is trimshat kashtaha eka kala. 30 kashtas is one kala, and then 30 kalas is one ghatika. Trimshat kalaha eka ghatika, dve ghatike eva mauhurtiko vidhi. So he doesn't mention that ghatika in between. So trimshat kalaha mauhurtikaha vidhi ityukte, the determination of muhurta happens using these 30 of these kalas, which means 30 and 30, it will be a muhurta. Dve ghatike eva ekaha muhurtaha, which is probably equal to 45 minutes muhurta. Tavat sankhyehi ahoratram. Tavat sankhyehi ityukte trimshat sankhyehi. In this, you substitute tavat with trimshat here. So tavat sankhyehi, trimshat sankhyehi ityukte trimshat muhurtaihi ahoratram muhurtehe manusham smritam. Manusham ahoratram, a human day and night put together constitutes 30 muhurtas. So muhurtehe tavat sankhyehi, with the 30 of the muhurta, you get one human day and night put together. Ahoratrani tavanti masaha. Tavanti ityukte again trimshat. Trimshat ahoratrani, 30 days and nights constitute one masa. The masa also has two paksha. Paksha dvaya atmakaha, shukla pakshaha, krishna pakshas cheti. Right? So the waxing and the waning of the moon. So you have two pakshas, 2 fortnights in one masam, and that one month has 30 days. Taihi shadbihi ayanam varsham dve ayane dakshina uttare ayanam dakshinam ratrihi devanam uttaram dinam. So till now we are in the human day and night. So taihi shadbihi, taihi masaihi, shadbihi masaihi ekam ayanam dve ayane dakshina uttare iti dve ayane. So 6 months is equal to 1 ayanam. This is a terminology here. And then dakshina ayanam, uttara ayanam, dve ayane. These two ayanas form 1 year, 1 human year. So varsham dve ayane. Ayanam dakshinam ratrihi. Dakshinayana is the night time of devas. Devanam ayanam dakshinam ratrihi. And then uttarayanam is your dinam for devas. So 1 ahoratram is 1 year of 1 human year is 1 day for a deva. So ayanam dakshinayanam, I think that's why the Brahma Muhurtam must fall during the Margari Masam. That is why it's supposed to be a very Punyakalam for us, right? So dakshinayanam, and then you have the Uttarayana Punyakalam, for which Bhishma waited for his this thing. So ayanam dakshinam ayanam ratrihi devanam. Devanam ratrihi, the night time for devas is dakshinayana and the daytime for devas is uttarayana. Divyaihi varsha sahasraihi tu krita tretadi samgitam chaturyugam dvadashabihi tadvibhagam nibodha me. Me nibodha me. Me vibhagam nibodha prayaha. The divisions that I am making, you should understand. Let me just check if there is a Pathabheda here. Nibodha me. Nibodha me mattaha ityapi vaktum shakyate. Because in Puranas, me does not necessarily refer to 2nd, 4th and 6th vibhakti. It could be any vibhakti. I have seen examples in Bhagavatam for 3rd vibhakti or even Saptami vibhakti. Tari prayaha atrapi mattaha nibodha. Understand it from me. Okay. So divyaihi sahasraihi tu deva sahasra varsham, 1000 years, 1000 deva years is equal to krita, treta yugam and dwapara yugam. So they are distributed in this manner, right? Actually it is 12,000 years, it should be dwadasha. Dvadashabhihi divyaihi varsha sahasraihi evam anvaya kartavya. So Dvadashabhihi divyaihi varsha sahasraihi. So 12,000 divine years, Devas years, is divided into the 4 yugas, Krita, Treta Yuga and Samgitam Tat Niboda. How is 12,000 divine years divided into Krita Yugam, Treta Yuga, and the 4 yugas? That is being said in the following shloka. Chatvari Trini Dvecha Ekam Kritadishu Yathakramam Divya Abdanam Sahasrani Yugeshu Ahuhu Puravidaha. Puravidaha, those people who knew all those things before, Puravidaha, Pura ye Buddhaha asan, Vidwamsaha asan, te tu evam ahuhu. So they have given the divisions of Chaturyugam in this following manner. It's in arithmetic progression. So Kali Yugam is 1, Dwapara Yugam is 2, and then, 1000. Kali Yugam is 1000 divine years, 2000 divine years is Dwapara Yugam, 3000 divine years is the Treta Yugam, and then 4000 Deva Varshaha, Deva Samvatsaraha eva, Tatra Krita Yugasya. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. But totally it is only 10 now. What happened to 2 more, right? So Dvadashabhihi divyaihi varshaihi eva chaturyugam krita tretadi samgitam tadvibhagam. Now those 2 are going to be formed with the Sandhya and Sandhyamsha. These are the time that exists in between the yugas. So the beginning of the yuga has a Sandhya, and the end of the yuga has something called a Sandhyamsha. The same way for the other the following yugam, the one that begins, it's like the Sandhya Kalam. You have a Dinam, you have a Ratri, and then there is something called the Sandhya Kalam for a day, right? You have the Pratha Sandhya and the Sayam Sandhya. In the same manner, for the Yuga also, you have a Sandhya Amsham for that. So you are going to calculate those also, and those will come to 2000 years. 2000 Deva Samvatsaraha, and add it to these 10, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you will get 12,000. So Chatvari Trini Dve Ekam. Chatvari for Krita Yugam, Krita Adishu, Yatha Kramam, Yatha Sankyam. So Chatvari is for Krita Yuga, and then Treta Yugam is Trini, easy to remember. Dwapara Yugam is the 2, right? Dwapara Yugam, and then Kali Yugam is 1. No. Easier to remember Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga this way. So 3, 2, and then 1. Divya Abdanam Sahasrani, 1000 of Deva years, Yugeshu Vibhaktaha Vartante. Now, Tatpramanaihi Shataihi Sandhya Purva Tatra Abhidiyate Sandhya Amshascha Tatulyaha Yugasya Anantaraha Saha Sandhya Sandhyamshayoho Antaha Yaha Kalaha Munisattama Yugakyaha Satu Vigneyaha Krita Treta Adi Samgitaha. So there is something called Sandhya and Sandhyamshaha. So Sandhya here, Tat Pramanaihi Shataihi. So Tat Pramanaihi Shataihi, if you have Krita Yugam as 4,000 years, then you have 400 years of the Sandhya, and then 400 Sandhyamsha. So you have 800 of those years there. In the same manner, 3. So you can totally take it as 1,000, which is 1,000 years in Sandhya, and then Sandhyamshaha tu Tattulyaha, Sandhya Tulyaha. Yugasya Anantaraha. At the end of the Yuga, you have this period called Sandhyamsha, which is also the equal amount of time. So you start off with 400 years of Sandhya for Krita Yugam, and then you have Krita Yugam 4,000 years. Then Sandhyamsha for Krita Yugam would be 400 years. The 300 years Sandhya for Treta Yuga, and then Treta Yugasya 3,000 years, 300 years Sandhyamsha for Treta Yuga. For Dwapara Yugam, you will have 200 years of Sandhya, and then Dwapara Yugam 2000 years, 200 years of Sandhyamsha for Dwapara Yugam. 100 years of Sandhya for Kali Yuga. Kali Yugam has 1000 years, and then 100 years of Sandhyamsha. All of these numbers that I'm saying are Deva Varshaha, not Manushya Varshaha. sandhya sandhyamshayoho antaha yaha kalaha vidyate. Antaha ityukte antaryaha kalaha. So that which is in between, that kalam is called yuga. Yuga akhyaha. Krita tretadi samgitaha yuga akhyaha saha vigneyaha. You must know it as krita yugaha, treta yugaha, dwapara yugaha, kali yugaha iti samgitaha. Kritam treta dwaparascha kalischaiva chaturyugam prochyate tat sahasram cha brahmanaha divasam mune. Sahasra Chaturyugam is 1 day of Brahma. We started off with Brahma having 100 years, right? So now 1 day of Brahma is 1000 Chaturyugam. Or it should be 1 Chaturyugam is 1 Brahma's years. Maybe I'm confusing here. I think 1000 such is called, yes. Sahasra Chaturyugam Brahmanaha Ekam Dinam. So Divasam. Brahmanaha Divasam Mune. So Brahma's 1 day is equal to 1000 Chaturyugas. That clear? Maybe we'll stop with this. Narayanam Namaskritya Narancheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vacham Tato Jayam Udirayet. Any doubts?
பகினி நீங்க ஒரு பிக்சர் போடுற மாதிரி இது ப்ளீஸ் இந்த இயர்ஸ் போடல. நான் ஒண்ணு போட்டேன், ஆனா எனக்கு ஒரே கன்ஃபியூஷனா இருக்குண்டா. அயனம் அது மட்டும் புரியுறது 6 months 1 அயனம் and 2 அயனம் is 1 year. அது மட்டும் புரியுது. அதுக்கப்புறம் நம்மளோட 1 year is தேவாலோட 1 day.
ஆமா, 1 அஹோராத்திரம்.
அஹோராத்திரம் அவாது
1 day.
1 day. அந்த மாதிரி 1000 எடுத்தாதான் ஒரு அந்த கலியுகத்துல இருக்கிற 1000 அந்த மாதிரியா?
அது 1000 years 360 days into 1000 போடணுமே இல்லையா? 1 day 365 days உங்களுக்கு வந்து ஒரு இயர் வருது. அந்த 365,000 வரணும் அவளுக்கு. அவளுக்கும் இதே மாதிரி தான்.
கலியுகம் 1000 yearsனா அது வந்து தேவாலோட 1000 years, not
தேவாலோட 1000 years. நமக்கு இல்ல,
நம்மளோட 1000 years. ஓகே, அது வந்துட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் அதுல 1000 சதுர்யுகம் இந்த மாதிரி பண்ணானா பிரம்மாவோட
1 வருஷம் வருது. அடுத்தது நம்பர்ஸ் எல்லாம் வேற கொடுப்பாரு. இன்னும் வேற குழப்பம் உங்களுக்கு. 30 கோடி 67 லட்சம் பேர்.
இதெல்லாம் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இதெல்லாம்
தெரியல. கால நிர்ணய கால விபாகன்னு ஒரு क्वेश्चन வந்ததுன்னா you will have to write this whole thing. அது ஒரு டேபிள் மாதிரி. I'll see if I can work out one table before the next class. சௌரியமா இருக்கும். Yeah. Okay.